Yeah, it's your boy Crypto Blood. Welcome to another episode of My Two Satoshis. It is January 28th, 2020. Shout out to my YouTube member, The Tech Geek, for that song request. He wanted to hear today 2 Chainz, Statue of Limitations. I'm a big Titty Boy fan. Those that really know what I'm talking about. What's going on, people? Welcome to another episode. Today, we're going to be looking at some things out of crypto.com. I got a couple news updates from them. Very exciting things going on over there. Also, Bitcoin. Could it be actually affected in a negative way by the coronavirus? I'm going to tell you exactly what I mean. I didn't even think about this, to be honest with you. But this is something really to consider. Not so much from a price perspective, but maybe from a security and network perspective. We'll take a look at that. Also, SEC, another one bites the dust. SEC brings hammer down on the infamous Bitcoin scammer. Don't know if you guys remember Blockvest. Well, it looks like they met their fate. We'll look at the details on that today. And then lastly, did Henry Ford predict Bitcoin 100 years ago? Thought that was interesting. So we're going to take a look at all 3 of those items in a second. But before we start, if you guys find these types of videos informative, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and click that bell to receive more videos like this. And this episode is brought to you by Dudex.com. Check those guys out. Next generation and fair and high-speed crypto derivatives trading platform. They are rolling out a new risk manager designed for statistical market edge. I'll leave a link in the description below so you can sign up and be ready for that. You can also check out their Telegram room for more details. You'll see that right under this slide here on their website, Dudex.com. Check them out. And to kick off the Lunar New Year, Crypto.com is sending good fortune to you and your friends. There's a new promo going on until the 13th of February. If you participate, you'll earn 888 CRO tokens. You and your friend, actually. So check them out. I'll leave a link in the description below for more details about that. But basically, you can send a virtual red envelope to your friends via the Pay Your Friends feature in the app, and you could win up to 888 bonus CRO tokens. Again, it ends February 13th. Heat map looking pretty much green for today, with the exception of Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin SV. They're down heavily today, well, at least Bitcoin SV is. Bitcoin up almost 1% to $9,031. We've got Ethereum up to 171 today, up 0.14%. EOS is down today 1% under the $4 handle to $3.96, but we got Tron up today, up 6%. Litecoin up just 0.1% to $58.97. XRP up 1.4% today, and BNB almost unched at $17.64. Bitcoin analysis for today. As long as we're staying above this red line here, 87.62, which was the marker for me to show that we were out of the ABC pattern, the previous one that is, and creating a new one, then we are good. You saw we had a little dip here, but didn't even get close to that line yet. We may see a test of that line just to make sure this is new support, but not too sure about that. All I know is that we've scored a point, and we're getting ready to score another point here at 91.93, essentially $9,200 will be a new point score for us. So let's see if we can get that today. But overall, definitely bullish on Bitcoin and many of the alts. So let's take a look at this Trust Nodes article. Bitcoin mining farms not closing because of coronavirus. I didn't even think about this regarding Bitcoin and the mining, most of it in China. And we've got this epidemic right now in China with the coronavirus. But it says some 70% of mining is in China, where an outbreak has led to 80% of the people there staying indoors, according to a Bitcoin miner in China. Bitcoin mining farms, however, are not affected, says the representative from Hash in the Box, a cloud miner. Despite nearly all regions in China that have mining clusters seeing numerous infections. Mike's claim is supported by a current Bitcoin hash rate, which shows the usual variation in an ever-rising direction, with all appearing normal. He was further corroborated by a number of other miners based in China who say that no industrial mining factories are affected. Viruses don't affect machines, said one. A straight no was the answer by someone else to our question of whether any mining factories are closing because of the human virus. So my thing is, I think, it may not be an issue right now, but let's say this thing continues to get worse, which there are many reports saying that it is. a very big situation simply because this virus is asymptomatic for like up to 14 days. So you literally can be contagious without one single symptom. So we don't know how far this is spread. We'll have to see. But, what happens if, this thing gets worse and these miners can't maintain these networks, these mining rigs? It'll be interesting to see what happens here. But I never even thought about how this virus could affect Bitcoin in a negative way. I always thought about it affecting it in a positive way. You guys let me know your thoughts. Do you think this is going to be an issue if this gets out of control, this coronavirus? I personally do think it could be an issue and something to think about from a security standpoint, not maybe so much the price at the moment, but if the security is compromised, then you can see double spending or whatever, so I don't know. We'll have to see. But God, 70% of mining is done in China. There needs to be some decentralization of mining in Bitcoin, I tell you that much. Let's take a look at this next article out of the Bitcoinist. SEC brings hammer down on infamous Bitcoin scammer. It says, after filing a motion for sanctions against Blockvest and its founder, Reginald Buddy Ringgold, that name sounds made up, the third, may I add, the U.S. SEC is now hoping to close the case for good. So it says that the U.S. SEC continues its efforts to crack down on numerous crypto scams that took place in the last few years. One of the most recent examples is a case against Blockvest and its founder, Reginald Buddy Ringgold III. Earlier in January 2020, the regulator filed a motion for sanctions against the project and its founder. The U.S. Securities Exchange Commission claims that Reginald used the company to deceive investors and the court alike, which should earn him a permanent injunction. The regulator also argues in favor of imposing disgorgement and civil penalties. In a motion for sanctions, the regulator also produced evidence against Reginald, proving that he knowingly submitted false and or forged declarations in order to make his defense more watertight. In addition, the SEC reports that Reginald attempted to persuade two pre-ICO investors to submit fake statements regarding their expectations of receiving profits from Blockvest tokens. On top of all of this, Ringgold allegedly attempted to convince another affiliate to lie to the regulator directly regarding a $147,000 payment, which is supposedly dedicated to the firm's own deployment. The statement reads from the SEC, based on the evidence, there can be no genuine issue of material fact that defendants violated the federal securities law through their fraudulent unregistered offer and sale of BLV tokens. And it's widely being reported that the SEC has been clamping down on fraudulent ICOs for a while now. One of the biggest cases currently involving a lawsuit against Telegram, which involves $1.7 billion in unregistered token sales. They also charged another company called Opporty $600,000 for a fraudulent security offering less than a week ago. So they're really coming down, people. And I told you guys this a year and a half ago. Stay away from all ICOs that were based in the U.S. because I started to see how they were treating people, or I should say these companies, and just kind of moving the goalposts. So it was a very dangerous situation to be, holding tokens that were originated from companies in the U.S. until further guidance was put out there. But yeah, this is crazy, and this is all while we have, and I've been talking about this the last couple of weeks as well, XRP. See what happens with Ripple as well. This is something I've been really talking about lately, and they're like one of the top cryptocurrencies that there's no judgment yet. And so I tell you guys all the time, just because there's no judgment doesn't mean there won't be. That really means that they're still in litigation, if you ask me. And there were some comments from the CFTC about this. Actually, the chairman said that we've been working closely with the SEC over the last year or so to really think about which falls into which box. And he says, because I think if I hear anything from market participants, it's that we really need clarity. Of course, we need clarity. And you better believe they're talking with the SEC and possibly the CFTC, Ripple that is. So we'll have to see how that pans out, but they're not playing. SEC is not playing, people. And the last article for today, out of You Today, Bitcoin predicted by Henry Ford over 100 years ago, they say. Let's see what they have to say about this. Bitcoin embodies Henry Ford's vision of an energy-backed cryptocurrency, and Tone Vays believes that this is the reason it will stay. So it looks like Tone Vays found a tidbit from a recent article entitled The Energy Standard, which clearly shows that Bitcoin, the very first cryptocurrency, was predicted by prominent American industrialist Henry Ford about 100 years ago. Vays believes that this is yet another reason why Bitcoin will be the only coin to survive in the future. This is the most idiotic thinking that I've ever heard. I'm telling you, this is crazy. Vays tweeted that there was an article on the Energy Standard, first introduced by Henry Ford 100 years ago. He goes on to say that there are so many reasons why it will only be Bitcoin in the future that it's starting to get tiresome to argue. Well, you need to come argue with me. You're arguing with the wrong people, Vays. Because I will break it down for you as to why Bitcoin will not be the only coin in the future. It just doesn't make any sense. And so Ford said it's simply a case of thinking and calculating in terms different from those laid out to us by the international banking group to which we have grown so accustomed to, that we think there is no other desirable standard. Ford was a century ahead of his time. We now know that an energy-backed currency can work. In 1921, Ford posits some advice for the skeptical. Ford proposed every country issue its own energy-backed cryptocurrency that would be able to replace gold in such a way it would also be able to prevent countries from going to war with each other, since each of them would be able to leverage their natural resources. And so in the 1920s, there was no way to translate Ford's plan into reality, because it was practically impossible to assign economic value based on energy consumption. Another problem was the establishment, whose members certainly hadn't lost their wealth. One coin to rule them all, they say in this article. Bitcoin's status as the energy-backed currency is supposed to be the reason it will be the only cryptocurrency to stay. In other words, you could only issue more energy currency if you put more energy in. And this is exactly what Bitcoin does. Earlier, Vays predicted that Bitcoin's dominance would reach a whopping 98%, which means that there will be hardly any coins left to rule in the crypto kingdom. So, I mean, this is a stretch as far as this, kind of saying that Henry Ford, just reading what I see here. Maybe I have to read it in context, but I don't know what they're saying here regarding that. But I will say that I believe the opposite. I think Bitcoin's dominance will actually dwindle over time, simply because the blockchain, this concept, is bigger than cryptocurrency. You'll see more use cases for medical, for automotive, for with AI and all types of stuff. You'll start to see that being utilized on the blockchain, and you'll need various tokens to represent these activities. So no, in the future, we're heading toward a future where, blockchain is bigger than Bitcoin. And this is coming from a person that is a technologist, not only a trader, but a technologist. So I think Tone Vays is just a trader. So he may not be looking at things, from various angles. So that's just my position on it. I'm pretty firm on that. I'll argue anyone up and down about Bitcoin being the only coin in the future. That makes no sense. I compare that to, someone saying that Netscape was the only web browser we will ever use back in 1990s. Crazy, right? To think that today. Technology grows and evolves so fast, there's no way you could say that. But again, Tone Vays, I don't think is a tech person. He's a finance trader, guys. But hey, that's my 2 Satoshis today. Let me know yours in the comments below. And shout out again to the Tech Geek out there on YouTube, one of my YouTube members, for the song request, 2 Chainz, Statute of Limitations. If you found this video informative, guys, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And click that bell. And we're going to rock out to this trap music. I'm out of here, people. Holla!